Welcome back. I'm Brandon, the HBAR Bull, once again joined by Zepsi. We both do some contract work for the HBAR Foundation, but we don't do these weekly updates in any official capacity. We're just coming to you personally to give you the latest in the Hedera ecosystem. Welcome, Zep.
How's it going, Brandon?
This week has been crazy. I've been having a blast seeing everything that's been coming out. But I do want to make a quick note. None of this is financial advice. We're going to be getting into the HBAR market. We're going to be getting into Hedera DeFi a lot. Use it for entertainment or educational purposes only. With that, the top story for the week is definitely Aberdeen getting added to the governing council. What were your thoughts on this?
I think the most exciting thing about a governing council member is that no one knows when to expect them. They sort of come out of nowhere, and it seems that they're always like, at least to me, it's like they always come as a surprise. Like, I couldn't have speculated Aberdeen in a million years,
Sure.
Like that was the kind of one. There was no breadcrumbs. We'd seen no breadcrumb trail. It's not like it's Microsoft or like Mastercard. When we see all these these different things that they're a part of, like MTech and all this stuff, like Aberdeen, that came out of nowhere, and that's like they're a top five asset manager in the UK. They used to be higher, but they fell down slightly recently. But they got like 508 billion under assets under management. Like that's like nothing. That's not a joke. Like that's a serious amount of money. Like I saw CoinMan put out a tweet the other day, on the dev, and it was like, we've always heard people saying, oh, there's gonna be like trillions of dollars flowing through the Hedera network or whatever, or assets, tokenized on the Hedera network, this kind of stuff. And to me, that's always, seemed like so far off, but like something that I really believed. But to see, like a firm like Aberdeen coming out now, and obviously we don't know what's going to be tokenized. We know that they have plans to tokenize some of these funds. We know that they've got a plan to put them on the digital market. But either way, that's a huge asset manager choosing Hedera, and not just choosing Hedera to research on, but to actually join the council, run a node, all of this good stuff. So yeah, super exciting.
Yeah, no question. By the numbers, they have 5,000 employees. They had $2 billion in 2021 revenue. As you mentioned, they have over a $500 billion in assets under management, and their market cap is 3.25 billion. Not a huge multiple there, so they're fairly valued, that's for sure. One of the things that Hedera mentioned in their second tweet is Aberdeen is currently examining prospects for tokenization of investment funds, citing Hedera's strong governance, operational efficiency, and environmental sustainability as key factors in their decision and efforts to drive modernization in fund management. So they did have a quote as well from their senior investment manager. He said, becoming the first asset manager to be accepted to the Hedera Governing Council further strengthens Aberdeen's position as a leader in the development of the digital asset ecosystem. We chose to join a number of leading global organizations on the Hedera Governing Council because Hedera's emphasis on strong governance, innovation, and sustainability aligns closely with our values. With rapid speed and ABFT security, Hedera offers a highly promising DLT solution for the fund management industry, and we look forward to joining them on their journey.
Yeah, I mean, to see another, another representative of one of these massive financial firms come out and give their reasoning for Hedera, I think is super exciting. We saw with the Open Zeppelin smart contract integration into the Hedera smart contract service. When that happened, we saw ANZ Bank published that they're going to secure their stablecoin, the ADC stablecoin, is i.e. the Australian dollar-backed stablecoin on the Hedera network. And the same reasons were cited, which are, sustainability. All of these banks need to be considering sustainability, the speeds, the throughput, the ABFT security. It is clear that Hedera sort of sets this standard really for these big financial institutions. It is best in class. The Hashgraph is best in class for the combination of sustainability, throughput, security, and decentralization. So, I can only imagine that there's a queue of these kind of organizations that have Hedera on their radar at least. And this could very well be the first of the dominoes.
Absolutely. The other thing that I was impressed with is the coverage we got in the media. Whether it was Coinbase or whether it was Aberdeen putting out their own information about it, we got really favorable coverage. I read several of the stories on it, and there was no crypto bias that I saw in there, which we see sometimes. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is Dropp becoming an official payment for Shopify. This is something that we talked about a couple months ago. It's really exciting. The Hedera community, of course, knew about it because of our discussions about it, but now it's actually become a reality. So in their tweet, Dropp said, Dropp is officially a payment app for Shopify merchants to use, accept micropayments, build referral incentives, grow customers, and keep more of every dollar they earn. Get started here, and they have a link associated with it. This one was pretty exciting as well. I love micropayments, as you know. I think it's a true frontier use case that's going to just see a lot of acceleration in the near future. And to have a $50 billion company like Shopify integrate Dropp, who exclusively uses Hedera for their solution, is really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Shopify, the size of Shopify can't be under sort of announced really. They're the number one e-commerce platform for all businesses. And the Dropp solution as a micropayment solution is only really made possible by the Hashgraph consensus. So as I understand, within Shopify, they are the only micropayment solution. And so if you've got these smaller businesses or, medium-sized businesses that might be selling smaller, less, but even bigger ones, smaller products that are less expensive, for these kind of things, the micropayments really come into their own. And so far, we haven't really seen that in any industry. And we know that Dropp is completely activated by the Hashgraph consensus. We know they've got a great team. So I'm really looking forward to what their campaigning is now that it's integrated, and to see where that takes us. Definitely.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Really exciting stuff. But let's completely shift gears and get into the sports world. So I think just at noon today, which should be a few hours ago, it should be a few hours from now because we're recording this in the morning, but we're actually doing a giveaway for Karate Combat. Their next event, their next fight is going to be on October 29th, and we're giving away 5 free tickets for that. They can't be resold, but just go ahead and follow the directions in that tweet that Zepp put out here a couple hours ago, and you'll be able to get entered. I'm going to be down there at the event, so maybe we can do a meetup. I'm going to try to put some content together. I'm just really excited about the giveaway they're doing with the karate token, how they're going to gamify their fights, and I think the sport that they're kind of creating, it's kind of in the middle of karate. It seems like a strike league, just MMA with a little bit less grappling, which even though I'm a former wrestler, I really enjoy that fast-paced kind of fight. So it's exciting to see. I'm going to enjoy the journey that they're going on here in the near future.
Definitely. I mean, for me, what I find really, I think what great about the business development team at the foundation is that they've really pinpointed a sport that is relatively small, like karate combat, even though, like we said, it's not true karate what they're doing. But they've seen a product, they've seen an organization, a sports franchise that isn't as anywhere near as big as the MMA yet, but has a huge amount of upside potential. When you look at the statistics, i.e., 146 million digital views in 1 month is what they got on their last launch, the last seasonal launch. That is a huge amount of viewership. 146 million. Obviously, that's across platforms. That's TikTok, Instagram, all this stuff. But I mean, even like, so my home friends. I've got my own personal Instagram that I don't really have. I don't follow anything to the crypto. It's like completely just social, whatever. And even on that, in the last month, I've seen 2 of my friends like share on their story the karate combat thing, and I see Hedera there. I'm like, oh, what the hell? So it's obviously getting traction, and those 2 people are completely non-Web3 native. They just enjoy combat sports, and so it's obviously on the rise. They've got like over 1.2 million followers on Instagram, which again is no joke. They're blowing up on TikTok. I mean, so it's the Hedera branding is there, but like we mentioned last week, it's more than that. It's a DAO. It's got a huge amount of upside. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do. And in just the modernization of sport as a whole, they're really pioneering something that hasn't been done before. And with that comes interest, and this ownership, will be a real test of whether or not the ownership economy is something that people really want to buy into.
Yeah, get on for the token drop. I'll put the information on that up as well. But the way I see it, it's just MMA with a little bit different rules. It's a strike league. You could certainly have Jose Aldo or Conor McGregor go in and be really successful in that league. So I don't see too many different things between MMA and this. I see more similarities between this and MMA than karate combat and actual karate, in my opinion. But hey, they're doing some great stuff. But to stay in the sports scene, Mingo App. Tyson Fury, one of your hometown heroes, is actually
Mm.
coming out of retirement in December, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Mingo app is doing his exclusive NFTs. All you have to do is download the Mingo app and you can buy it right there. I do want to see what happens when people start buying them there and then they end up on Zeus Market and some of our other marketplaces to see actually what happens with those NFTs. That's certainly exciting. So definitely download the Mingo app and try it out. Their wallet is really good and I think it's going to have a lot of growth and they have a lot of things cooking in the fire. You should definitely check it out.
Definitely. I think, Mingo have done a huge amount already. They've got the Mingo chat app, which, as I understand, you can send HTS tokens across, which is pretty crazy. They've also got, so Mingo chat, Mingo app. Mingo app is an NFT wallet. You can store HBAR in there, store HTS tokens in there. So, they've done a huge amount already. And obviously they secured that partnership with Tyson Fury, which is massive. They were on a New York Times billboard with it. So they've got that partnership there, and I'm like you said, I'm excited to see that where that takes them, and to see maybe see them get on the Zeus market as well.
All right, the next thing we wanted to cover is something that came out of Bloomberg, actually, and it's out of our Sustainable Impact Fund. I was talking a little bit earlier when we were talking about Aberdeen and their addition to the governing council membership that we got some good coverage in the media. Well, Bloomberg came out with a story about Sync, CYNK, and what they said was the platform known as Sync will use Hedera Hashgraph Ledger and trade tokens generated by Tomua, Kenya's largest biomass company. It is also in talks to trade emission reduction credits from a company that plans to practice regenerative agriculture on 50,000 hectares of land in the East African country and a blue carbon project. So again, Bloomberg is covering this. We're getting some exposure there in Africa. We're getting some exposure for our Sustainable Impact Fund. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a massive testament to the whole team at Sustainable Impact Fund. Again, there's the stuff they're doing is sort of unmatched in how they're doing it across the industry. You've got loads of different refi projects that are all working together and doing amazing things. But I really think that the foundation, the business development team, i.e. Wes, Rob, and the team at Sustainable Impact Fund have a real opportunity to become sort of thought leaders in this space. The stuff they're doing with the Guardian, the open source Guardian, I might remind everyone, is leagues ahead of any other DLT. It's like Hedera and the Guardian together are best in class for sustainability assets in the field of distributed ledgers. And that even goes beyond the field of distributed ledgers, because these sustainability markets need distributed ledgers. There's some use cases where people say, oh, we don't actually need DLT or whatever. DLT is clearly an absolute necessity for some of these markets, like carbon, energy markets, water markets. So to see, another Bloomberg article come out, see that the first emissions are going to be coming out for the first verifiable emissions reduction platform in Africa on Hedera, of course, it seems that they're really building something special over there. And I know that there's some great things to come for them. And I'm really excited. Yeah.
So the next thing we wanted to touch on is something that came out of Avery Dennison. We know that Atmio is putting some transactions on the network, but they haven't completely ramped up to what we know is going to be their potential. But they announced a new partner. What they said was Avery Dennison is pleased to announce that it's partnered with SAP, signing an original equipment manufacturer agreement. Through this agreement, Avery Dennison will integrate SAP Analytics Cloud, an SAP business technology platform product, into its Atmio connected product cloud to help retailers address the huge issue of waste. In the grocery sector, for instance, some 30% of produce is estimated to be thrown away, and 20 to 40% of beauty products are also estimated to go to waste. Now, Zep, this doesn't necessarily mean that SAP is going to use Hedera. Hedera is just an option for Atmio, but that said, it's still good to see Atmio growing and getting these additional really big partners. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they might not be directly leveraging Atmo. I mean, Hedera's side of Atmo, we don't know, i.e. the carbon emissions tracking. But to see another Fortune 500 of that scale come in, doubling down on the Atmo platform, that shows the long-term credibility of that platform as a whole. And we know that every single company in the world needs to be measuring their carbon emissions to then offset them. So to me, it's like, whilst the Hedera side hasn't been tested yet, I believe they're going to be part of the long-term vision there, and to see another Fortune 500 come on board only kind of cements the long-term credibility of Atma. But also SAP, I think if I remember correctly, they were focusing on like the waste side of Atmo as well. So that's a mutual affinity in terms of sustainability, as what Hedera is doing on Atmo. So I'm sure there's going to be some conversations there, at least some mutual respect of saying, oh, what you're doing is really interesting. Oh, what you're doing is really interesting. So I'm excited to see whether or not something more comes from that, or maybe a relationship gets pioneered between Hedera and SAP as well. That would be cool. But either way, just for the credibility of the platform as a whole on which Hedera is on, I think that's great news.
Yeah, at very least, Atma.io is going to talk to SAP about Hedera being an option on their platform. So, like you said, it is exciting to see. Do you think you're ready to go into some network analytics?
I am indeed. We've had a lot of TPS up today, so we're excited.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to go ahead and pull up Metrica. We're up over 1 million transactions in the day, but if you look over the past several hours, we've seen a lot of action. All right, so one of those things is certainly HCS has picked up. There's two things I think going on. There's an unknown, at least to me, HCS application or use case that is ramping up, but we don't think it's Atma.io. The other thing is smart contracts have increased. Last week, we were sitting at about 10,000 transactions over the past 24 hours. This time, we're looking at over 22,000. And I think we can attribute that to Heliswap, the new DEX coming online. And of course, those are 5 cents per transaction. So it carries a fair amount of weight for the revenue of the network. Do you have any thoughts on that one, Zep?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen TPS going up from the Hedera consensus service. Like you said, we've seen the smart contracts going up. We've also got 37% increase on account creation on the week. So we're sitting at about 20,000 new accounts this week. Today, we're up 40% on the day, which is great to see. So we've got 3,144 today so far. So I mean, in terms of the last week, it seems that really healthy on both the transaction and the account creation. At least in the last couple of days, we've seen a boost there.
All right, guys, I did want to give you a quick heads up that we did see a big jump in TPS over the past few hours. We have total transactions over the past 24 hours of 1.67 million, max TPS up to 381. Something big's going on. It might be at Atma.io. We don't know, but either way, it's exciting to see this kind of ramp up in transaction volume. Let's go ahead and get into our fungible token summary. Energy Trade token is still sitting at the top, not a protocol. Of course, that's Slime World. That's the game. That's in second place. We have Wrapped HBAR in third place, and Sauce is still holding strong at about 5,200. Dovu as well in the top 10. So that's all good to see. And let's move on to the NFTs. Any thoughts on those?
What do we have in the NFTs recently? So we had the
Numbskull's launch was big.
So Numbskulls. God, what am I talking about? I was up till 1 a.m. UK time. So I've minted four Numbskulls last night. So Numbskulls was the brainchild of what was previously HBAR. So HBAR, one of the first big NFT projects on Hedera at the very beginning. They rebranded as Numbskulls. They've got some really cool pixel art. Within that pixel art, they're sort of shouting out other projects. You got Brandon's project from Pixel Art on there, Pixel Rug on there, sorry, and lots of different shout outs. And that did really well. That sold out overnight. And saying that actually, so I did all of this from within the Hashback wallet. So normally I would go to Turtle Moon, the website, go on Turtle Moon, mint from there. Everyone would spam the website. Just as it happens, but everyone will be waiting on the website. But yesterday they tweeted out, HGraph Punks, Patches, Pixel Rug, and Hashpack tweeted out that you can use Turtle Moon from within the Hashpack DApp. Within Hashpack, go into the DApp section and navigate to Turtle Moon Launchpad, and it was completely seamless. I mean, there was, I minted everything I wanted to mint, nothing crashed. Came out the other side with 4 NFTs. So yeah, that was a big drop yesterday. And then there was something else. Oh, that was it. So last week we didn't actually touch on Seeky app, which is one of the music streaming platforms on Hedera.
Hmm.
They have got an exclusive rights to the podcast with the Alan Watts Foundation. So some of Alan Watts's, obviously the Alan Watts, the philosopher, I think he passed away a while ago. You can see his videos all over YouTube. He's a real big mind of the 21st century, 20th century. But either way, exclusive rights on the platform for these podcasts. So that's gonna be really cool to see some new, Alan Watts fans hopefully come over and check it all out.
Yeah, he's covering both the 20th and 21st century. He's been
All
around
right,
for a while.
perfect.
So, but the other thing I wanted to talk about when we're talking about NFTs is I just was able to give the HBAR Bull airships from Earthlings. We gave those out, or we had a drawing on that a couple months ago, and I was finally able to give those out almost immediately. We gave 5 out, 3 of them hit Zeus Market, which of course, hey, it's their NFTs. They can do whatever they want with it. One sold almost immediately for 20,000 HBAR. The floor right now is at 20,000 HBAR for the HBAR Bull airship. We're going to be giving away a couple more of those. Once we cross 10,000 subscribers, and we're getting really close, so certainly subscribe if you haven't. But once we cross that, we're going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to give away one of those HBAR Bull airships. We're going to give away one of the 1 centers that we created from HBAR Bull, and that celebrates the people that bought the bottom in the HBAR. And you're not only going to get that NFT, and it's going to be the only one in circulation for a while. I don't think the next one we're going to give away is until December when they do the charity event, and who knows when we're actually going to do a major release of those. But not only do you get that NFT, but I'm actually going to send out some coins that represent the exact same thing. We have a nice little setup for you. So you're going to have something you can actually carry around in addition to your NFT that can hang out in your Hashpack or other wallet. All right, is there anything else you want to cover when it comes to NFTs there, Zep?
So yeah, one last thing is the gaming sort of play to earn universe that Earthlings are building. They released some sort of concept art of their kind of loading screen and in game, and they both look really cool. So yeah, that's just there's not much else other than the art that has been released. But either way, it looks really cool. It's going with the high quality of the team that we've seen so far, and I'm really excited to see more of that. Definitely.
Yeah, their visuals are amazing. Like Lithos, which is creating that AAA game, Ashfall. It's going to take a while for this game to actually come out. I think it's going to be at least a year before the game is out. But that's what the nice thing about these NFTs and these other things that they put out. They keep engaged and keep the community engaged until we actually get to the point where we can play that game. And I think I want to buy one of the towns there. We'll see. Maybe we'll call it H-Barton, something like that. But either way, I think that would be really cool to have one of the H-Bar Bull airships up there and all that kind of stuff, all the HBAR Bull branding. They're doing a great job, and I'm looking forward to what they come out with. All right, so another big piece of Hedera news comes out of our DeFi space, and it has to do with our newest DEX. It's fairly high volume. It's called Heliswap. We did a launch party with them on Wednesday. They went live yesterday, actually really early morning today, Friday. They came out with their farming. And it's really exciting. The user interface is a little bit different from what I'm used to, but I'm sure they're going to make some improvements there. But their farming rewards are off the charts, just like Saucerswap when they were early on. Just to give you some examples, USDC HBAR right now is sitting at 589%. Of course, these farming rewards are in addition to any LP, liquidity provider rewards that you would get. So again, close to 600% on USDC HBAR. HBARX HBAR is sitting at 50%. We have Galaxy HBAR. So if anybody's out there is holding Galaxy and HBAR, 1,600% right now. So providing liquidity on that would make sense. Of course, there's a lot of risks in DeFi. There's your own custody risk. There's the smart contract risk, though these smart contracts have been well vetted. There's the risk of impermanent loss. There's the risk that the tokens themselves go down in value. There's also all kinds of scams out there, so you have to be careful. But these rewards on Heliswap are looking really good. Have you taken a look at their platform yet, Zep?
I have indeed. I need to have a bigger dive this evening, but I've been very excited about them for a long time. Because their connections with Mantra DAO, they got and Lime Chain, of course, but they actually got a grant from Mantra. So they got given a grant. They were the first grantee of Mantra DAO, which is a cross-chain sort of DeFi platform, I suppose. And they got $200,000 worth of which is their native token. slash HBAR, I think, given to them in the form of grants. So, hopefully we'll be seeing some of their own community of Mantra coming over to capitalize on that.
One thing that I want to mention is when you do stake on their farming platform, there's two transactions that you have to do. There's one where you actually initiate the staking, and then you actually have to hit stake again. So there's two smart contract calls that you have to make on there compared to Saucerswap where it was one. And I believe this is because their LP tokens are ERC20s instead of HTS tokens. I'm not exactly sure of all the details, but just know that a few people have had trouble with that. So you do have to do two transactions to initiate those farming rewards. All right, so over to Saucerswap, they are sitting at total value locked of $15.7 million. You compare that to last week, we were at 17.5. Of course, a lot of that total value locked has moved over to Heliswap. They're sitting at well over $3 million at total value locked. So compared to last week, if you add those together, we have gone up a significant amount between the two platforms when it comes to total value locked. And as we mentioned last week, as some of that liquidity has shifted from Saucerswap over to Heliswap, the rewards on Heliswap paid out in Sauce and HBAR, it's only HBAR on Heliswap, has gone up a little bit. So HBAR USDC is sitting at 70%. We have Sauce HBAR is sitting at 54%. We have HBAR Sauce sitting at 65%. One of the things that Saucerswap just added is they have APR and APY. So both of those percentages are now listed on Saucerswap. In addition to the farming rewards, you also get the LP rewards on Saucerswap. They've come up a fair amount, just like they did in the farming rewards. So right now on HBAR, we're looking at just under 1%. Sauce HBAR is looking at about 2.5% and almost 15% on USDC HBAR. So that's good to see as well. And of course, that is in addition to the farming rewards. So you get your LP rewards and you add your farming rewards on top of that. Another story about Saucerswap, actually, we have a couple stories about Saucerswap. One of them was on DApp Radar, and it showed that over the past 30 days, Saucerswap has seen an increase in users of 235%. Did you catch this one, Zep?
Yeah, that's that's a testament to what we've been discussing over the last couple of months, I think. Is, a lot of these use cases we've been talking about are more retail focused than have been in the past. It seems that the foundation sort of came to the market wanting to drive more of these retail-focused applications, to get more users in, to get more adoption of the network and more eyes on the network than would from just single enterprise use cases. And obviously that DApp Radar article completely highlights the success of what they've done so far with the likes of Saucerswap, highlights the success of Saucerswap itself, and just getting more users into the network. So yeah, a continuation of what will hopefully be a very successful 2023, really going into the next year. More of these retail applications coming to market, more users coming in. Yeah, I think it's a good start of what's to come.
Yeah, and that's not just saying, hey, we went from 0 to 1. We've been around for 2 months. So this is from the second month to the third month. And, we're seeing still good increases. So we're not just coming off and saying, well, of course it's increased a lot because they just got started. No, this is the second month. They still saw that huge growth. That's certainly good to see. The other thing that Saucerswap put out some information on their single-sided staking. This is something that I know a lot of people were interested in. This is going to allow you to get rewards not just for providing pairs, but also just providing one asset. So what they said in their article on Medium is, in this model, yield is derived from 3 distinct sources: swap fees across all Saucerswap liquidity pools, yield farm emissions, and HBAR native staking rewards. This latter reward mechanism involves dynamically staking all HBAR in the WHBAR contract to a permission node. Moreover, users can compound their earnings by staking X Sauce in community pools to earn HTS tokens from projects incubated by Headstarter. Any thoughts on single-sided staking there, Zep?
They've got this roadmap and they're clearly hitting it. They're a really strong team, Saucerswap. And I'm just excited to see them continue to innovate. And it really feels like they're going to be one of the leading DEXs in 2-3 years time. They're an astounding team. I think they've got a really strong community, obviously a strong developer team as well, and just a strong vision. So to see single-sided staking that one step closer is just a reflection of that to me.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And I want to move on to Stater now. There was some interesting news that I wasn't expecting. So up until October 3rd, I think the last week of September, going into the very beginning of October, we had dropped down to Stater emissions rate being at 400,000 HBAR per day. And some news that came out on October 1st is it's actually increased to 425,000 per day. I thought it was going to continue to go down, but I think because the TVL jumped up so much, the HBAR Foundation saw the value and they decided to give a little bit more rewards. So right now, the total value locked is sitting at 1.456 billion HBAR. The APY is just over 10% compared to last week where we saw it under 10%. And an HBAR X is now worth 1.1834 HBAR. So you've earned 18.3% if you've been involved with Stater staking from the beginning. All right, and now moving on to the crypto and HBAR market. Bitcoin is pretty much flat on the week. It's up about 0.5%. It's down 2% over the past 24 hours. And you compare that to HBAR, which is up about 2% for the week and up about 1.4% for the day. So it is just generally outperforming the rest of the alts and Bitcoin as well. We're sitting at about 5.9 cents. Certainly looking good in general. We held support, as I mentioned last week, at about 5.5 to 5.8 cents. And now it looks like we're setting up fairly well that if there is a Coinbase listing, we should be in pretty good shape. As far as support, we're still looking at support under us at about 5.5 to 5.8 cents, as I mentioned. And to talk about the broader markets, midweek there was a pretty good rally in risk assets, which might be attributed to treasury yields backing off from recent highs, which kind of stabilized the currency markets. We were talking about the pound over there in your neck of the woods was having some trouble last week. We've seen some stabilization there, so that was certainly good. Also, earnings season is coming up next week, and the Fed, the Federal Reserve, the central bank of the United States, doesn't have another meeting until November. I don't think they're going to be setting rates again until December. So we have some time where the market can just kind of get a breather. So we saw a really good rally, I think, on Tuesday and Wednesday. It kind of gave a look back a little bit of those gains yesterday. And then this morning, jobs data came out and the market didn't like it, so it sold off a little bit. But the nice thing is HBAR held up pretty darn well. You know, it didn't sell off like the rest of the crypto market. As I said, it's holding strong around 5.9 cents. I don't know what the reason is that HBAR is performing a little bit better than some of the other alts. I don't know if there's some good stuff coming out of Dubai. We know that there's a Hedera governing council member going on over there, so I don't know if somebody's getting some alpha and it's holding up because of that or because of all the good news we mentioned throughout the rest of this episode. But like I said before, no matter what, you're holding up fairly strong right here. So if we do go into a Coinbase listing here mid-month, which is the last information we got on a Coinbase listing, it was supposed to be mid-month, we're setting up pretty good for a little bit of a rally. But again, this is not investment advice. We're just doing this for entertainment or educational purposes only. Any thoughts on the market, Zep?
I stay away from looking at the market, so I leave that one to you. You teach me every week, so yeah, you're my source of market news, definitely.
Oh, well, we're going to be getting some more experts on here about that. All right, Zeb, that's pretty much all I have. Next week, we're going to have interviews with Patches. He's going to be talking about his hgraph.io. He's also the founder of Turtle Moon. We're going to have an interview with Lehman Swap. We talked about them last week, and we're also going to try to get Dropp on. So we're going to be able to talk about their news with Shopify and maybe their listing with WordPress as well. Is there anything else you'd like to pass on before we let you go?
Well, I mean, I think every week we joke, that at some point we're not going to be able to fit it all within the hour. And it seems that it's getting, how long so yeah, it's just over an hour this week. So we're slowly getting there. And I mean, the amount of news we had this week, it's not even like the quantity of the news we've had this week. I think it's the quality of it. We've had a Hedera governing council member. We've got Dropp integrating with Shopify. We've got so much. We've got Heliswap launching. It's just been a very big end of the week. I think all of that happened on Thursday. So just a big week for Hedera, the HBAR ecosystem. And, we know that Shane has come out and said that there's 3 governing council members in the works. So, I mean, we've seen one of them very quickly, and I'm excited to see the others as they come through. Obviously, we don't know when they'll be. We don't know how long they'll be. But, we've had a first taste of that again, which is really nice, refreshing.
All right, Zep, that's pretty much all we have. Next week, we're going to have a Twitter space next Tuesday at 6 p.m. It's just going to be a general discussion to go over all this news that we've had lately, and that's pretty much all we have. So if you like the content, go ahead and drop a comment below. Go ahead and give us a like, a subscribe, and we'll see you next week.